Today we're here at Devoxx, Belgium with Venkat. Venkat, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And you've been leading a session today. Can you tell us a little bit what that was about?
Yep. So today I spoke about reactive programming. Reactive programming is gaining a lot of interest in the recent times. So my talk was about reactive programming. I took a more of an example-driven approach where I talked about not just what's reactive programming, but actually how does it feel to actually write code.
Okay, so kind of not just taking it from the theoretical to the active daily.
Yes, well, theory is very important. However, what I find often is when we talk theory without tying it down to concrete ideas in code, programmers live in code all day. So that's what I tried to do, is to show them examples of how we can actually do it with a couple of different things. I showed how to write this with Java, with RX Java, but I also showed Elm, which is a language which is Haskell-like syntax but translates to JavaScript. So it was a lot of fun to have that as well.
So was that to kind of make people kind of think outside the box, or are you just...
It is, and also I really like the level of abstraction that Elm provides. Rather than providing API where you take the streams and then you're trying to work with it, it really, so to say, the word they use is lift. They lift up the stream and then feed the data into other functions. So I really like that higher level of abstraction.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on the subject of Reactive, obviously the news about Reactive at the moment is there's been a big update to the Reactive manifesto that's kind of in progress. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the way I see the Reactive manifesto update is, it is really a revamp to terms that are more current with the industry standards.
I mean, it's a little bit like your talk today, taking it from that really academic kind of verbose level down to something that actually makes sense for everyone.
Right. Well, so Reactive Manifesto 2.0 itself said, well, we could talk about event-based programming, but we really want to emphasize on message-driven. We could really talk about scalability, but if you really look at the cloud, we really are talking about elasticity. So it's really more of a renaming of certain things to make it more relevant to the current deployment models and technology, but the concepts are really essentially the same across 1.0 and 2.0. It's really a re-emphasize on technology stack.
Okay, so it's kind of just a pivot almost, as opposed to kind of a totally reimagining of... as well as your session on Reactive today, you're very prolific. You travel all around the world, you do all kinds of talks, but also you're going to do some talks for Parlays.com, right?
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Well, absolutely. I'm really excited to work on that. I'm going to be talking about or providing a course on concurrency without pain. Well, as programmers know, concurrency can be an enormous pain.
Right.
And one of the reasons why concurrency is pain is, unfortunately, most Java programmers, me included, have not taken the time to learn about the Java memory model. And even if we learn the Java memory model, it is such a low level of abstraction that getting concurrency right using this library or set of tools is incredibly difficult. Well, thankfully, there are a few concurrency models available on the JVM today. Notably, well, we got Java 8 coming up with parallel streams, but besides that, and I'll talk about that as well, but besides that, there's also software transactional memory, and there's also the actor-based concurrency. And these provide solutions to the problem in a fairly hygienic way and raises the level of abstraction. So the underlying theme is I'm always looking for things that raise the level of abstraction.
Okay.
So we as programmers can be productive in solving our real problems than tinkering with the infrastructure and failing at it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's making your job easier and kind of making it easier on your everyday life to get there and get stuck in.
Well, easy certainly, but also more effective, because at the end of the day, we want to provide value to our customers, and the way we provide value is by delivering solutions rather than saying, hey, let me tell you how much effort I put in, right? I mean, I'm with all respect, we put in, we struggle, that's what we are as programmers, but I would rather be efficient rather than, say that I'm hardworking.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find it own your courses, what level would you kind of say therefore? Would you say this is for kind of really advanced programmers, or anyone can jump in, say you're not too familiar with Java?
I wouldn't say it is for the beginners. I normally say it's an intermediate course. It clearly relies on knowledge of Java,
and obviously working day to day on
various concurrency issues. Certainly familiarity to that would be definitely useful. But on the other hand, I am going to be providing details about what STM is. So I'm going to introduce STM from the ground up. I will be providing details about the actor-based concurrency from the ground up. So it is not assuming those kinds of knowledge, but it does assume that developers know something about concurrency issues in general.
But I mean, the great thing is that it's not just a talk people can kind of dip in and out. They can do it in their lunch hour, around their own time.
Well, yes, and also I will have labs. So at the end of each session, there will be exercise for them to code. And then once they code the exercise, they can go to the version control and pull out the exercise solution, and then can compare notes. And then there will be a forum in which they can ask questions. They can post suggestions, discuss with other people.
Fantastic. So really dynamic.
Absolutely. Well, we learn from interacting.
Absolutely,
we learn from learning from each other.
I think it's very well. You can read something and then you forget it instantly.
That's correct. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us today, Venkat, and I look forward to seeing it.
Absolutely. Pleasure. Thank you. Yeah.